Hello, and welcome to ARC Encounter. I'm your host, Melanie, and I'm excited to walk along this ARC path with you. This week, we'll be discussing confidence and hope. I'm excited to learn how we can utilize our community to strengthen our confidence and hope. Our guide today, Casey Cox, will take us on this journey, where we may even encounter a special VIP. Now let's get you started on the ARC path journey with this quick video.
AHRK is the lifestyle path to better choices. It empowers us to live life to the fullest and paves the way for people like you and me to discover our unique purpose and passion. Choosing to walk the AHRK path invites transformation and growth in 5 key areas of life: leadership, communication, mindset, community, and lifestyle. As we dive into these lenses, they redirect our focus and guide us into a deeper understanding of where we're at today and where we're going tomorrow. This is ARC Encounter. Welcome to the ARC Path.
Hey, well, welcome to the ARC Encounter. My name's Casey, and I am your guide today. And what an amazing opportunity we have for you to encounter community at a different level. As I engage community, I recognize that when I'm surrounded by people, I learn more about myself because everybody's different, and it helps me embrace the different side of me. It also invites me to discover where my power and my authority lie, because can I motivate and move people, or can I not? And so as we engage community today, we are going to bring the topic of hope and confidence to light. And what we want to invite you to recognize right now is hope is not a future experience. Hope is often rooted in the past, and it's a conviction about what you believe is possible. We're going to engage that faith muscle and say, what do you believe in? And do you believe in others? Because when you do, you can empower them to change the world. Well, today I have a great opportunity to bring to you a most amazing guest. My guest, Marina, is truly a VIP.
Hello.
Hello, Marina. On the ARC Encounter, we talk about our guests as being unshakable because they have this core understanding of their values. We think they are truly unarguable when they talk about things because they just are driven to say, I know who I am and what I do, and that's about your identity, and you are undeniable. I mean, I don't know if anybody agrees with me, but I think you're undeniable. When you walk in a room, you are going to change the room. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your VIP? What are your values? How does your identity show up? And do you have a purpose?
Okay. And so starting with V, my values, I value my faith. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. I value family. I value community, other people, authenticity, integrity, and just living life fully. And that's something I'm just learning to step into, and that's what I'm learning to value. So it hasn't always been the case for me. And my identity.
So let me pause you before you go to identity. Where did these values come from?
It came from ARC. It came from working with you. You challenged myself.
Marina actually hangs out with me. I met Marina as an intern, and she came into the office. She was just going to do a little summer internship, and she fell in love with the ARC Encounter experience. And so it's fun to have you here today. And yes, it came out of ARC. Tell me about your identity. How has your identity changed? I mean, what are you, like 45?
No, I'm going to be 21 actually next month. So
coming along, and yet you already believe that you have a grip on something so hard to conceive as identity. What does identity look like in your life?
Identity, well, that's still attached to my faith and my belief in Jesus Christ. And I know a lot of times I think that identity is attached to what I do, but I'm actually learning to kind of take that apart, but realizing what I do is just a reflection of who I am and who I'm trying to become. Or even sometimes I do things and I don't have the most fun doing them, but it leads me closer into I'm being shaped to and who I want to be, and learning maybe who I don't want to be. And so right now, I think my identity is just continuing to try being a light, to be an encourager, knowing that I do health coaching, but it's my identity and wanting to be healthy and wanting to encourage others that taps into what I do as a health coach.
I love that you're grabbing an encourager. And it's one of the reasons why we have you here today to talk about community and hope, because you connect your heart in such a way that it inspires other people. How does that set up for you to tell us, how do you capture your purpose?
How do I capture my purpose? I think that goes into, again, kind of just being a light. I think sometimes that question is like, oh, what is your purpose? And you think you have to have everything layered out. But I think the purpose for myself and even for other people, regardless of what you do, should continue to just infiltrate itself in whatever it is. And so my purpose is to be a light, and I am definitely a good listener, but also like to see people for who they are and just allow people to see themselves in that way, but also who they can become as well. And so I think for myself, knowing and being even more just encouraging myself and diving into with health coaching, with being a youth leader and being a student, knowing that I get to meet so many different people, encourage them, see them for who they are, listen to them, but also just be able to allow them to see who they can also be.
Beautiful.
So.
And so I want to just invite you at home, as you watch in, as you connect with us, one of our commitments on the AHRK Encounter is to bring guests in who are young. And I don't mean young by age, I mean young at heart, young in experience, young in the journey. Because a lot of times we just have this understanding that eventually I'll figure it out. Someday I'll understand what my purpose is. And that's just really not true. And that's what the basis of the AHRK Encounter is that you can encounter your VIP because it's inside of you.
Yep.
And we just want to walk it out. And that's really what AHRK invites us to do, to really become unarguable and say, look, I'm convinced of these things in my life. I'm unshakable. I've been tested, I've been tried. You've been tested and tried. We're going to get that out. And look where you've been the last 2 months, and being undeniable, just really believing that there's proof that I can make a difference in the world. So let's jump into this AHRK Encounter experience. And AHRK begins with acknowledge. And really, as we acknowledge, we're taking an awareness of what do we perceive? What do we know? What do we see? How does it come into our lives? Because there's a lot of things that we just don't see. We don't always see the exchange between other people. We don't know how people were experiencing life before they walked into our life. I think, when you're in a room and people walk into the room, they're smiling, they're happy, but you don't know what just happened outside, the phone call they got, the way somebody talked to them. And so as we acknowledge, we're acknowledging there's more going on than really meets the eye. So Marina, as you approach community, and you kind of have this confidence about it, what do you acknowledge and what do you see that maybe some people are missing?
What do I see? For myself, I see just the importance of community for myself. And I was in Panama for about 2 months, and there was a community that formed there. And even coming back here, I realized how much I missed it. But realizing, like, sometimes we can be in a pattern of just, let's go work, let's go do so much, but realize that there's so many other people that you can meet around you and be able to just communicate with, do life with.
I'm interrupting again. Have you ever been to Panama before this?
I've never been to any place out of the country before this.
And yet, how did Panama jump on your radar?
That's kind of like a weird long story with my sister, who made a connection somewhere while she was doing an admissions job, going to different campuses, sharing about our college, Life Pacific University, and she met this person who was a videographer saying he's going to be a missionary, go to Panama next year. If we want to join, we could go.
And so at one moment, Panama didn't exist on your radar, and the next moment it did.
Yeah.
And then you acknowledged that in order for you to go to Panama, you'd have to make a difference. You'd have to do something differently. You had to raise money. You had to get time off from your job. You had to figure out how to make this happen, and you had to release some things. What was it that convinced you that this experience is something you want? How did you know, I want to go to Panama and change the world?
I just knew that for a long time, I've always wanted to go somewhere for a long period of time and do missions, or just go somewhere and experience something where I specifically go to serve, because that's just also my heart of doing things and experiencing life with people, and not just kind of going different places just to see different things. And so I knew that I would be encountering these people in Latin American country. And so knowing, even from my background, knowing a little bit of Spanish and wanting to tap into that community, I was like, okay, I want to experience that. And alongside the missionary too. So I know it was an experience that's just going to be for myself or for my twin sister, but knowing, okay, we're working alongside some other people. And then along the way, there's so many more people we got to experience that with.
So I invite you at home to think about, where's your Panama? It maybe literally, like, where is a place that you've never gone that you've forgotten about? sometimes we bury our dreams, we bury our ideas of what is possible, and acknowledge is simply to awaken to the fact that you could do something you've never done before. But in order to do that, you have to go through this process of letting go of some things and taking on some other things, which is where the AHRK path brings us to healing. And so, Marina, what did you have to let go of as you experienced Panama? I mean, it's a totally different culture than what you were used to. And so you got there and you had to let go of some things. You had to take on some other things. What was that like for you?
There is a lot of things that I had to let go of, but because of the community that I was around, that's what made me just be like kind of brought to life, knowing that I can be totally free, be totally myself. And yes, with that comes the sacrifices of sometimes in the areas we were there's no running water, didn't always have functioning toilet, didn't always have light, bugs everywhere, and things aren't convenient.
So I'm hearing that there was some difficult. Now bring in hope and confidence here. You were traveling to a place you'd never been before, going farther than you could ever imagine. You had to just kind of up and go. You didn't even know who you were going to technically meet.
No, we did. I never met the missionary before.
So how did you have the confidence at your age, at your experience, to say, I can do this?
Yeah, and I think that taps into my faith and hope, and knowing the doors were just opening with people donating who never really even donate or support other people on their trips before. And
so you had a community around you that
allowed me
to
go into a different community as well. And so I was able to see so much value in the community I have here and be able to experience and tap into another community and create my own community over there. And with that came the sacrifice of leaving my community over here and experiencing something new. It's like obviously a whole new world over there.
So tell me, when you were in Panama and you had let go of your community back home, did doubt ever come in about what was happening without you there? And how did you experience any of that? I mean, because this is part of the healing, is recognizing fear is real.
Yeah.
What were some of those fears that came up that you had to heal through?
I don't know, seeing how you guys have catapulted into the last 2 months of all the interns and everything going on with the AHRK path and whatnot, I was like, maybe they don't need me anymore. Or going to other things and thinking I'm probably not going to be able to do things again, or people are not going to accept me again, being along for 2 months, but then even coming back and being fully accepted and even being even more embraced because of even that experience, and knowing because they partnered with that too. And so it's just been a nice moment of being able to know I did have fear, but now that fear has dwindled and it hasn't been there anymore, especially with you even texting and encouraging me there. I'm like, okay, I'm not forgotten.
You're not forgotten.
So.
And that's one of the powers of the AHRK community and the AHRK encounter is to recognize there's people around you. And as we engage the community aspect of hope and confidence, I want to invite you to lean into somebody else that has hope when you don't have hope, that you can draw from somebody else that has confidence when you're feeling a little bit of lack. And that's really what Marina's sharing about how she overcame fear in a place of community. Because what was interesting is, and you've shared this, is you were giving hope and confidence to others at the same time you were drawing on it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And that leads us to the next step in our AHRK encounter is restoration. In order to restore, you have to be moving. You have to be in action. You're building, you're growing, you're maturing. And really, you had a lot of building, growing, and maturing when you were gone for 2 months. So talk to us about how hope and confidence, how are you different coming back? What did you bring back from this 2-month mission trip?
Well, I think it's so amazing how you gave me this topic of community of this lens, because that's my main takeaway from being over there. And I was really sad these past 3 days of realizing, man, I don't have that. I don't have that same experience, because being over there, I could see the difference in who I was and how I spoke freely, even singing freely. I just randomly break out into different songs, Disney worship, and people would...
Sounds like confidence grew.
Confidence grew, hope grew. And so even coming back, I realized I don't have that, but now knowing I want that and moving forward, not staying stagnant of how life was before going to Panama, or not saying, oh, I need to be in Panama to experience that. And so now stepping into the fact that I can move forward in creating that for myself and investing more and just what I want to see in my life here. And it doesn't need to be limited to a place, but it does take that work.
So because I know, and I'm inviting our guests to get to know you a little bit as they listen into your story, talk to me a little bit about how else you do community.
How else I do community?
In that restoration lens, it's about growing and reaching beyond. It's about stepping into the fullness. Do you have other places of community? What does community look like to you other than Panama? Because you live community. Where else do you have community, and how do you maintain it?
Yeah, I have community at my church. I'm also a youth leader, and so we're constantly meeting on Wednesdays and meeting on Sundays. And then I have my family. That's the community right there. But I think the biggest community that I have has been my health coaching community. And so where I'm able to tap into that and knowing that that's the place where I can gain the most confidence, because they're encouraging me, allowing me to push myself in those uncomfortable places, being authentic and being honest with myself and with others. And so those are the communities that I have been able to experience here. It is sad though, through health coaching, it's more through Zoom. So it's not always being able to see each other face to face, but even within those borders of just, a computer, a tablet, or a phone, it's just those people that make it so worthwhile, and knowing like they see me, and when they see me, I feel seen, I can make others seen. And without that tapping into it, I become isolated, and then I just start overthinking everything and thinking, oh man, I suck, I can't do this, how is everything going to work out? But then they remind me who I am, what I've done, and inspire me and give me hope for who I can be and what I can do.
So when those thoughts come in that I suck, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm falling apart.
Below the line.
How does the AHRK path help you?
It helps me knowing like, okay, what am I saying to myself? How am I acknowledging it? And what do I need to do to make sure, okay, where do I flip it? Oh, instead of saying I suck, no, I'm an encourager.
You release that.
Yes, I'm releasing.
Speak truth to yourself.
Yeah, because when you take something away, you always have to put something back in. You can't just take something out. And so with that healing and just knowing and continuing to move forward, because sometimes I can stay stuck, but that's where I need others like yourself to continue helping me continue to move forward.
So you've surrounded yourself with a community of people who are on the AHRK path.
Yes, that's why I'm here.
And that's why you're here. And that really invites you to, it's like life is a party. And maybe your life, you're not experiencing the party. Well, let me tell you, on the AHRK Encounter, what we're going to do is we are going to get to the party, and that's the kingdom celebration. That's the kingdom stance where we go, wow, I made it. I am a VIP. I am in the right spot. I am doing the right thing, and I'm changing the world. And so, Marina, I want to invite you to tell anybody else who's watching this. A year ago, did you feel unshakable?
No.
Undeniable.
No.
Unarguable.
No.
And yet today, are you living into your VIP?
Yeah. Closer and closer.
For somebody that was to meet Marina 18 months ago.
Wow.
Take us back there. And now meet that person and invite them to the party.
Oh, okay. So from back to forward. So if you met me about 12 months ago, I would have been even like 30 or more pounds overweight. I would have just been going through the motions and just like, okay, I just need to get things done. I need to continue doing things for other people. But in the midst of AHRK and in the midst of even from AHRK and finding the health coaching community afterwards, it solidified in me this AHRK experience and knowing that now I do see myself more of an encourager. I am able to even define how I see myself in the VIP, because I would have never been able to do that before, or even identify myself as, a person who likes to serve, a person who likes to encourage, because I just thought, okay, this is just me. What's so special about that? But knowing in the AHRK encounter, you're able to encounter yourself and other people in a new way, and knowing that even though I'm not the same I was 12 months ago, and who I am now, I know from who I am now is I'm not going to be the same from 12 months moving forward. And so it's just knowing like that's that constant growth, the constant restoration, because nothing is really stagnant. And life. There's so much to learn, there's so much to experience. And even going to Panama, knowing like, hey, I can experience more life. I don't just need to stay in one place and constantly be doing the same things. And I can experience new places, new people, and new ideas. So
awesome. Well, I hope you've enjoyed an ARC encounter with Marina today, and you have seen, well, if you haven't seen, watch some more of the ARC encounters. It's not that everybody that comes into this experience knows about ARC. I mean, you can watch the other ones and go, I don't think that person even knew what ARC meant before they got here.
mm-hmm.
Our journey is to invite you to recognize that an ARC encounter will change your life over and over and over again. So walk down the path, experience acknowledgement, healing, restoration, and kingdom, because for you there is a party and you are the VIP that we're throwing it for. So thanks for joining us today on Community and understanding that hope and confidence is being made available to you. Here's Melanie to help you know what you can do next.
Wow, that was incredible to hear about the importance of community to build relationships and strengthen our well-being, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And if you like what you heard today, you can visit our website at www.arcpath.com. Check us out on social media at ArcPath. And we even have a podcast featuring the talented Bernard Brashear and Casey Cox, available wherever you stream podcasts. You can download our Circles Now app, available in the App Store for course packages launching soon. Thank you for tuning into ARC Encounter, and we'll see you on the next one.